Hello, Zach. We've been doing
Hello.
bits for an hour and a half.
Just about.
We really need to do an actual video now.
We do.
But that's okay, because I have a really good one for you.
Okay,
Zach-
I'm excited.
This one came to me.
In a dream?
When I was... It's funny you say that. This one came to me while we were talking about our Yu-Gi-Oh video, right? While I was doing
Fascinating.
research for the Yu-Gi-Oh video, which, by the
So
way,
what? That was a fever dream.
you can find in the description. The Yu-Gi-Oh Nightmare is amazing and related.
It is text.
Yes. Yeah, Zach, it's funny that you said those things because your opening quote is as follows. Over the course of, I don't know why I quoted this, over the course of the series, many Targaryens have prophetic dreams.
Oh,
Yeah, it is actually dreamlit.
I was thinking about this the other day because I have like a cracked show-related House of the Dragon theory that we can't do here because then it spoils more like things.
We can do it here. Oh, like we can do it in its own video.
Yeah, it should be its own video because it's about what might happen in the show, and there's no like real evidence for it in the books. It's based on show-only context, and also, I mean, we're gonna touch on the stream because it's important, so there will be at least one Fire and Blood spoiler in here.
Mm-hmm. But they'll be pretty mild, and we'll try to we'll walk around the spoilers.
Oh, I guess there'll be two. But I'm thinking the thing that stuck with me recently is that Hugh Hammer's my favorite character from Fire and Blood. He's mysterious in the books. He's interesting in the show.
I agree.
It's like almost Rasputin-esque that like Hugh and Ulf have like insanely like those are important dragons. Those are Jaehaerys's and Alisane's dragons that they're riding around on, and they are some rando blacksmith and some rando like drunk. He doesn't even have a job. Who are flying around on that, and you stop and you wonder like, how the hell did we get here? And then Hugh has a prophetic dream, or gets a prophetic vision from somebody. It's unclear. I think he gets it from a fortune teller or something like that.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. At this moment, that is not relevant. So let's walk around it so we don't spoil anything future in the show.
Sure. That might be revealed to him as a dream in the show. It might be he hears it from somebody else who might also have Targaryen blood. We don't know yet.
Yes.
So
I like where your head's at, though.
Because that implies, like, the question is, like, is this a bloodline thing? Is this, like, part of Targaryen? Is this the same thing that allows them to claim dragons?
Yep. Is it just genetic, or is there something about, like, being around dragons that causes this?
Is there some sort of magic thing that's passed on from Targaryen to Targaryen, much like they pass secrets on to each other, much like they pass artifacts onto each other? Because,
do you want to expand on that a little bit?
There's some ancestral swords.
Yes.
There's crowns that get passed on.
No, go back.
Swords.
Yeah.
There's two swords.
There are two swords. Yes. What are those two swords?
They are Blackfire, and oh god, the other one is called. That's the important one, isn't it?
Yeah, they're both pretty important.
Well, that's one's gonna give me a ding.
No.
Blackfire is one of the swords.
Dark Sisters,
Dark
the other
Sisters,
one, which is a very cool name.
Yes.
And
there's another sword.
there's the third one.
There's the knife. Right?
There's the knife. Yes. Let's see. Where was it in here? Oh hell yeah! Oh my god, I love this. This is a good theory. This is an actual like real theory, Zach.
Is it the Millennium Item theory?
No, but I like where your head's at. Aegon's dream is called the why? I'm typing at such a weird angle right now. The Song of Ice and Fire, and it is inscribed on a Valyrian knife.
As confirmed by House of the Dragon.
Yes. This is supporting evidence, right? I'm not suggesting that this is literally real in the books, but this is a book theory.
And in this at least points to like the possibility.
Yep, like weird. A lot of the beginning of this is going to be a bunch of weird dream stuff.
And that was revealed by Danis the Dreamer.
Did Danes put that on the thing?
We're left to assume that the Dreamer was the one who had that dream, because that's the reason they went to Westeros in the first place and left Valyria.
I thought it was no. They left Valyria because Daenys dreamed of the Doom. Is what we assume in the books.
I always assumed after this that it was both. The Doom was inherently tied to the need for somebody to survive and fight against the forces of winter. It's not only that you need to leave so that you don't die. You need to leave so that there's a Dragon Lord still alive.
I love it. I think that's phenomenal. I had been assuming that, like, we're calling it Aegon's dream. Like, everyone is calling it, which implies to me that Aegon is the one who dreamed it. But that could also just be like misdirection, right?
No, it was
we are calling it Aegon's dream because it's named after Aegon, not because it's his.
Also, Aegon could have probably thought to himself, well, if I have to fight against the others that are going to come from down the wall, I should have the biggest kingdom possible underneath to have forces to fight against that threat.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been, somebody else had a, like, dream, that's how he willed it. Like, if somebody, real world, like, parallel here, you could build the world's largest, like, solar farm massively because your goal was to, like, stop polluting, like, fossil fuels. And then people would see that this guy was obsessed with putting giant mirrors in, like, the desert.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's an interpretation you could have. Oh yeah, like Tom's dream was to cover Nevada in glass, when really your dream was to, like, save the planet.
Yeah, because I was doing other things that just look weird to people who don't know what solar panels are.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Yeah, I like this, and you are thinking in the correct ways right now. Things being misinterpreted by people in the future because
like that's the crux of every dream we get. That's why I wanted to bring up the Hugh Hammer dream. He gets it, like, the vision he gets, whether he got it in a dream or whether he got it for a prophecy or whatever, is accurate, just not about him. It's
just like every other fucking dream in the whole series.
Company of the Cat. Shout out to Company of the Cat. She had that video that Euron thinks he's Jon, because he has seen visions of somebody who looks enough like him if he squints, doing things that he thinks are awesome and that he wants to do. So that's a possibility.
I scratched through animal companions.
Yeah.
Crow imagery, sure.
Yeah, exactly. He's getting dreams of Jon into, like, mistaking himself.
Dreams related to Euron Greyjoy may be relevant.
Shit. Are we getting Dany's weird dream?
Which Dany weird dream?
The one where she has sex with an ice penis?
No. No, that's not in here. Like, you're in the middle of the forest of this theory, and you have, like, 6 paths you could go down, because this is a real theory that it has real stuff.
So it's weird that the Targaryens get dreams. Dany has multiple weird magic things that are, like, unclear. There's a lot of ambiguity with every magical thing that happens to Daenerys Targaryen. Mm-hmm. Like the warlocks in the House of the Undying.
Yeah.
Is that what it's like for everybody who goes through? Or is that just what it's like for Dany? We don't know, because we have a sample size of 1.
Yeah. We even, in our video on the House of the Undying, we talk about Drogon. We're like, is Drogon seeing the same things that she's seeing right now?
Drogon freaks out. It's something that does not freak Dany out, and that's what tips her off that it's dangerous.
Yeah. And Dany inexplicably does not freak out at some things that she really should be freaking out about.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yes.
I love that. I love those chapters. That chapter is maybe one of my favorites in the whole series.
It's great because all of Dany's chapters are just a build up to her going to a haunted house, and the haunted house chapter is really good. Yeah. That's the whole book for Dany. Is, man, I don't want to go to this haunted house. Well, I'm in the haunted house. Is the House of the Undying in here?
It isn't. I don't have it. If we went through the visions, I'm sure we could find things that are related to this. But this theory is pretty specific, actually.
It's specifically about dreams being misinterpreted.
No, it's specifically about dreams already having been interpreted and consequences of that the characters and the fandom haven't identified yet.
Summerhall?
Ooh, you're thinking in the right way. Not Summerhall, but you're thinking in the right way.
Rhaegar?
No. Ooh. I think that you may need to get more on the board before you can see where I'm going here.
Let's go through there is not a Targaryen that goes by without some weird magic shit happening. Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Even we get very little VZT details in Fire and Blood. We get more in the show, but even then, we see there's prophecy in House of the Dragon with the he has the knife. He knows the dreams are an important part of the family's history.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Daemon.
Yeah,
and his weird ass dreams.
He's tripping balls in Harrenhal right now.
Yeah.
Let's see. I also want to talk about that. It's just that could be its own video, what the fuck's going on with him in Harrenhal. But the Maegor has a weird fucked up he's cursed almost, or he's a homunculus, if you buy my theory.
We're gonna do this sidebar on Maegor because it's been a long time coming. I don't see why anyone needs to make Maegor anything other than Maegor. If he got cracked on the head and had presumably when he was unconscious had a 3-eyed crow dream, and now he's crazy, just like everyone else in the series.
I like that interpretation. It does not explain why his kids are literal monsters.
I mean, yeah, but half of the people in the series have kids that are literal monsters. Half the Targaryens have that problem without being homunculuses.
Not
homunculi.
Not. It's Dany has.
Yeah. Dany, Rhaenyra.
Rhaenyra, yeah, has on the onset of war has the stillbirth. It's
a weird little dragon baby.
Yeah.
And I'm very confident that more are described as horribly misshapen.
I think
scales and wings and all
that. The Mad King's wife has a bunch of stillbirths, but I don't know if they're scales and wings misshapen.
So that's really interesting, but I assume that Maegor's problem in that direction is related to that same problem, whatever that is, rather than its own different thing.
Fair. He is notably the child of the woman who did weird dark magic rituals.
That's true.
That does add that element to it.
So
which, actually, I think is a good avenue to strike down. We have canonically a Targaryen who practiced fucking dark magic, and everybody was creeped out by her.
Yeah.
In the history books, and everybody admits that is what happened. It's she did some weird sorcery shit.
Yeah.
And it was her knife too, was it not?
Yeah, I believe that she is in possession of this knife right now.
Yeah.
This, how to phrase, I think it has to be the case that she rezzed Maegor, right? She rezzed his ass like Robert Strong, or not like Robert Strong, like Jon, right? She rezzed him like Jon,
potentially, or then created him in such a way that he was able to continue living past another person, or imbued him with strength when he was young in a way that was tragically Greek cursing somebody with a blessing sort of way. Imagine getting somebody with strength to the point where they survive things that fully should incapacitate them. That would explain the getting kicked on the head and still living sort of thing, right? I give you strength and perseverance. A blow to the brain that should be fatal instead turns you into somebody with a partially functioning brain, but still the ability to control your whole body.
Okay, here's a weird lineup. We're fully on a tangent right now, folks.
Yeah. It's related. It's
Yeah.
dark magic and Targaryens.
It is related, but not strictly relevant to the theory. I think you're going to need a card after this, but that doesn't mean we're going to abandon this tangent because it's really cool. Interesting lineup. There are now 3 people in the series who are huge, extraordinarily powerful, died or very, very nearly died, but still continued to be alive, but very, very different.
Yeah.
We have Hodor, Robert Strong, and Maegor. That's a weird... These are weird parallels. Can we find something about the end of Hodor's story by looking at the end of Maegor's story?
There's also... Drogo was holding on until he got in the pyre.
Drogo was also rezzed. Yeah. He was also revived. Yeah. Huge men being revived is a theme, isn't it?
It's like cursed with vitality almost, right? Like he's hard to kill, but to his detriment.
Huge men being saved by external forces and accepting
saved in a way that's not great for them to.
That is terrible for them.
Then again, George R. R. Martin is a football fan, so like that is also just your like post football career is I'm alive.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say this is just him coping with the Giants record. Like maybe like they can be like someone will revive them, please. There's your football. There's your football. That's all you're getting this episode. That's all the football you're getting.
That's all.
Okay, keep going.
Give me a card.
Okay, I would love to. Would you like the card that is related to the things that we've been talking about, or the card that is unrelated that will reveal a new quadrant?
Give me the Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Oh hell yeah, absolutely. Can you guess what the Yu-Gi-Oh card is?
Obelisk the Tormentor?
Yes. Yes, it is. In Yu-Gi-Oh! Bunk. Duel Monsters.
Wouldn't want to confuse people as to which Yu-Gi-Oh! We're referring to.
Maximilian Pegasus.
My man. LGBT icon, Maximilian Pegasus.
Becomes obsessed with visions of deities. He then puts these on trading cards. So yes, it is Obelisk the Tormentor. Go watch the Yu-Gi-Oh! Video. Pegasus is the best character.
This is still somehow not the most unhinged hint we've had on the board before.
Yeah, we had Monty Python on this board.
We had Monty Python. We've had a couple wild things on there.
We also have some Lovecraft.
Yeah,
in this theory.
Ooh, I mean, Lovecraft is where Yu-Gi-Oh! And A Song of Ice and Fire meet in the middle.
Yeah, there's this weird nightmare-scape where they meet.
Well, H.P. Lovecraft, his whole vibe was, what if the gods were after me specifically? Which is a great idea.
Yeah.
Just baller way to project your paranoia into literature.
Yeah. And in The Song of Ice and Fire, that god's is Bran.
Yeah, and he is. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're correct.
Correct. Yeah.
And in Yu-Gi-Oh, that god's is after Pegasus specifically.
Yeah, because he put them on a trading card for children.
I love that man so much.
He's so great.
He's amazing.
Canonically dead? Question mark.
Canonically dead in the manga, not canonically dead in the show.
Yeah.
He does come back in GX.
Okay, so
we can't turn this into a Yu-Gi-Oh video.
But it's because the Paradox Twins are alive in GX, and we see their ghosts.
Yeah, and I hate that.
Yeah, we see them in hell.
Yeah,
they just left. And never talk about
it.
They escaped hell.
They're fully in hell.
Yeah, whatever.
Look, I want to know what happened to them. Did we just retcon those scenes in season 4 of Yu-Gi-Oh, or are we just...
We're gonna get a show that are the Paradox Twins escape from hell and decide to never tell anybody about how awesome it was?
Yeah, it's like a Bill and Ted thing.
Yeah. Bill and Ted told people they went to hell.
Oh my god.
The third one's like, you guys didn't go to hell.
Paradox Twins bogus journey. Bogus journey. Alright, Zach. Can you connect this to some Lovecraft clues.
This is a problem in Lovecraft, and famously in the Call of Cthulhu, like the journal is what drives the guy to like a level of madness. He gets, is it his uncle's journal or something like that?
Yeah, it's like his great uncle's journal or some shit.
And he's like, yeah, there's these cults, they're weird and fucked up. But that in Lovecraft, like knowing about the gods is dangerous to you. Your ignorance is your strength.
Yeah.
Your ignorance is your immunity to Lovecraftian deities. Knowing that Cthulhu exists weakens your ability to do things about Cthulhu. It also makes Cthulhu stronger? Question mark.
It's unclear.
Yeah, it's unclear, and this also makes it more terrifying. Are you making the problem worse for everybody else or just you?
Are you making the problem worse by learning about it? Knowledge of gods is dangerous in Lovecraftian mythology.
Yes,
absolutely. Keep it going. There's more Lovecraft on this list.
I mean, Lovecraft is like text in A Song of Ice and Fire. They're like,
yeah, that's true.
The fucking drowned god stuff is like all very, very Lovecraft inspired, and the Squishers are Lovecraft inspired, and the Sea Stone Chair is Lovecraft inspired, and the first king of the Ironborn, fucking, he didn't die, he returned to the sea.
I love it. Not you're beating around some of the correct bushes.
Yeah.
Do you know the plot of the Call of Cthulhu?
Yeah, I've read it before.
Go ahead.
The Call of Cthulhu is...
Give me like the 2 sentences.
Guy finds book.
Mm-hmm.
Guy realizes that Cthulhu will wake up soon.
Mm-hmm.
Guy helps crash boat into Cthulhu's forehead. Guy becomes insane having saved the world, but nobody understands that he did. But also, he only saved it temporarily.
What does the title mean?
The Call of Cthulhu is because there's like cults that can hear him and understand that he's out there, and they are heeding the Call of Cthulhu.
How do they hear him? Boop.
They can hear him
boop, boop.
Sleeping in his house. He lies dreaming.
Boop, boop.
Cthulhu lies dreaming.
Boop, boop.
In his house in R'lyeh, Cthulhu lies dreaming.
In the Call of Cthulhu, many people dream of R'lyeh. R-Y-L-E-H.
The wonderful thing about
fight me on the spelling
and pronunciation, because the wonderful thing about how H.P. Lovecraft wrote things is, God, I don't fucking know how it's supposed to be pronounced.
Man, you riff. I'm right. I'm typing.
This is like the arc words of the Call of Cthulhu is that he is dreaming, and that is how people hear him. Are his dreams are like shared with others. They can hear his dreams, and that is weird and esoteric and unsettling, and you're not fully supposed to know exactly what it means, because you can't like comprehend it as a rational person, which is what makes H.P. Lovecraft's like horror so scary to many people. Is there is nothing rational to grasp onto. There is no way that you, with your rational human like skills, can bite into the esoteric nature of Lovecraftian deities. They are beyond your comprehension and always will be, and that scares the crap out of a lot of people. You and me both.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing that like I read a lot of true crime stuff, and I get bothered when I can't, like, there are just people out there who do horrible things that I cannot even begin to rationalize where it came from in their head, and that's scary. H.P. Lovecraft got that on a like giant global galactic universal scale. There are beings beyond whose power you cannot comprehend, whose goals you cannot comprehend, whose ways of achieving those goals you cannot comprehend. The entire thing is unknowable to you and more powerful than you, and you will go mad trying to decipher it. It's very good. It's a very good idea. You can tell that H.P. Lovecraft was a depressed alcoholic his whole life.
Yeah. He did suck.
Yes,
but that doesn't make him uninteresting.
You could tell that he was struggling with greater things and found a very eloquent and scary way to communicate that. He sucked for a lot of reasons.
This is good a time. There's a lot of Lovecraft in this theory. This is as good a time as any to talk about like H.P. Lovecraft and his philosophy.
Yeah.
A lot of the reason that people really I've read his complete works.
I've read I would say more than half, but
for anyone who's interested, The Rats in the Walls and At the Mountains of Madness are my two favorites.
Not Whisper in Darkness?
Whisper in Darkness is really good. It's really good. Oh, I think it's called Plinkman's Model.
Yeah.
Plinko's Model? Something like that. And The Thing in the Museum are really, really cool.
What would be if you had to make an H.P. Lovecraft story into a musical, what would be the best one? And why is it Herbert West Reanimator?
See, the problem with Herbert West Reanimator is it's not fun at all. It's really not fun.
People made it fun later.
Jeffrey Combs redid that movie. Jeffrey Combs and Brian Usner redid that story. If I was to make a love, this is gonna be a long one, Zach. I like this video. This is a good video.
Yes. We were talking about Lovecraft. This was never gonna be a short video.
Yeah. If I was to make one into a musical, it's gotta be The Shadow over Innsmouth. Right.
So I was in a stage production of that before. It was not a musical.
You told me this. Yes.
You saw it.
I did.
Yes. That would be one hell of a musical. That would be great. Man, yeah.
I'm imagining like the right before the intermission, right where it's being revealed that everyone is fish people, that like the music starts with like diegetic like footsteps and squishing, squish, 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 and he's like there's this amazing scene where he's in his hotel room and he's realizing that everyone's coming from him, and that's definitely the finale of the first half. And there's like, what do I do? Squish. Where do I go? Squish, squish. Where do I go? Who do I trust? What do I know? And it's like squish, squish.
I can hear them all go squish. I'm in a town, it's full of fish. Squish. Where can I go?
Squish.
Who can I trust?
Do.
I like it. I like it a lot. Everybody, you can start writing your songs for The Shadow over Innsmouth, the musical. We'll put it up. We'll put it on with a like theater with a budget of $5.
Yeah, it'll just be you and me. We'll do all the roles.
I have talked about like putting a stage in my backyard and then doing like lightning fast rip from the headlines musicals and uploading them to YouTube. Like we can turn around a musical about the most recent trend or news story lightning speed.
I'm sorry, my brain just keeps going squish, 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 squish. All right. On the philosophy of H.P. Lovecraft, one of the reasons that people call it find his stuff scary is because it is extremely relevant scary stuff.
Yeah,
it is fear of things you don't know and don't understand.
Yeah,
right. Which is at its core all religious fear.
Yeah.
Basically all supernatural fear.
Yeah.
It encompasses fear of the dark, fear of the deep ocean, fear of space. All of these are being afraid of things you can't know or perceive, things you haven't understood yet, or things you can't understand.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
that also covers discrimination.
Yes. Unfortunately, and this is a very serious point. Yeah. Unfortunately, included on the list of things that H.P. Lovecraft did not understand and therefore was afraid of were people who were not himself.
Yeah.
Which is to say, Black people. Right, which is
Jewish people,
which is to say people who are not H.P. Lovecraft's immediate family and his like cultural,
his like, super waspy New England like area he lived in, all very like upper to middle class white Protestant people he was very not great towards in his writings.
Mhm.
Yes.
And with that understanding, I still thoroughly recommend it. Right? It's like you can see it in, I don't know, like half of his stories.
Yeah.
Half of his stories about fear of other people, and half of his stories about fear of uh things outside of his own reality.
Yeah.
And you know which one you're in pretty quick.
Yeah.
But as long as you understand that, you can gain a more nuanced understanding of how people who suck think.
Yeah.
And that is useful for convincing people to suck less.
Yes.
And it is useful for realizing whether you suck.
Yes.
Which is a common affliction.
Quite unfortunate.
Yeah. So I still thoroughly recommend Lovecraft. And it is still deeply frightening.
Yes. And also there's like it's foundational to so many great stories.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have like George R. R. Martin is like peppered Lovecraft throughout.
Oh, hell yeah.
King is peppered Lovecraft.
Hell yeah.
Neither of them would be writing what they write today if he did not exist.
I agree.
And shit, our writing that we've both done would not exist without the works of H.P. Lovecraft.
Every single Dread campaign I've ever written is Lovecraftian. Every single one.
Yeah, 100%. Same here, and also like some of my more leaning into horror aspects SCP stories that I've written are like I can't imagine if I had not read Lovecraft they would not exist. It's like he really struck the nerve ending of I feel extremely uncomfortable and I cannot comprehend how to get to the point where I am. That's like when you think of Cthulhu, like Cthulhu being real is such a like dense thing to try and wrap your brain around that you can't.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's scary.
Yes.
It's like that internalization is like the internalization when you understand what the sun is.
Yeah.
Right? When you finally internalize what
it's a massive ball of plasma that is inconceivably larger than the planet that you can traverse by plane
in like a day.
In a day.
Yeah.
In a thing going 300 miles per hour in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then the sun is a magnitude larger than that is hard to wrap your head around. Just the amount of Earths that you could fit in there. Yes.
The one that did it for me was at the Buffalo Museum of Science, which I recommend. And they were doing a solar viewing in their telescope on the roof. And they were observing solar flares coming off the corona. And you could see all the way inside this real little itty bitty little tendril, little tentacle coming off of the sun. And I asked the person who was manning the telescope how big it was, and he said, "This is about 3 Earths. About 3 Earths tall. Little tendril. It's about 3 Earths tall. And that's
yeah. That is that little tendril there is 3 times bigger than something you might never fully explore.
Yeah.
Probably will never fully explore.
Yeah, 3 Earths.
Yeah,
it's about 3 Earths.
Because like you're not going to go through most of the ocean or Antarctica, even if you like. I'm going to go to every country in the world. You're also not going to go to the core. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So let's go back. Let's dial back in because
we've touched on
No, go ahead. No. Don't get distracted by me getting distracted.
No, it's fun to watch you feeling little like people who listen to this as a podcast don't know that we're quickly tidying up. Good. There was no white spot. There was never a white spot. The person in the comments saying the white spot starts here is lying, and you shouldn't click the timestamp.
Zach, I would love you to redirect your attention to this line here because this is arguably the most important one in the theory.
Yes. We went on a whole we love Cthulhu and the Cthulhu mythos and H.P. Lovecraft tangent here. The dream, where that dream came from, it's fascinating because there's the whole how do Targaryens get dreams? Is it a bloodline thing? Is it like anointed through magic? But Another good question that I didn't even think to ask: who sent it?
You're asking the correct questions.
Do they have a magic power to see the future and that's in their blood, or is somebody sending them telegrams from the future?
Let us suppose, for the moment, for the purposes of this theory, that it is neither.
Yes. Or are they doing some sort of self-fulfilling prophecy by somebody giving them a vision of a future they want to achieve, knowing that they're the people who are most likely to achieve it? Like, if you can by his bootstraps, one of my favorite. We talked about the time travel.
Yep.
One. He inadvertently knowing what the future is causes it to happen. That could also be the case for the Targaryens. They get this dream saying in the future you need to be prepared for X, Y, and Z. And it's like a classic Greek tragedy thing. Knowing that that is the future you're marching towards and trying to not do it, you inadvertently create all of the like circumstances to lead to that to be true. Oedipus Rex, classically. You will murder your father and marry your mother. It's like, I gotta get away from my mom and dad right now. And then he runs towards his actual parents because he doesn't know he's adopted.
And he stabs him in the road.
Yeah. That could be the case, that some god is giving these dreams to the Targaryens and they don't realize it. They've not put two and two together that it's coming from a dark, evil place. And hang
on. Finish up your thought, but I want to talk about that.
Valyria had its own religion that was tied to the dragons. We don't know much about it other than that.
Yeah,
they had a faith that involved like the dragons being tied to their view of who the gods were, and also they believe themselves to be descended from those gods directly.
Yeah, absolutely. All of these things are extremely relevant. Okay. However, I want to talk about what you said a moment ago about a dark god sending these things.
Yeah.
The word sending implies a certain amount of intent. But take a look at this again. Right?
Many people dream.
What was Cthulhu? Cthulhu had no intent.
His dreams were viewable by some people.
Yes. They were being projected from him so loudly that people were just picking him up.
Certain people could dream him, yes.
Yes. And this caused terrible problems. This is different, but in my opinion, much scarier. Because he doesn't know you're alive and he's still killing you.
Yes.
That is the frame of mind that I want you to view this.
H.P. Lovecraft would have been horrified by asbestos.
Right, is a volcano sending me signals when smoke comes out the top? No, it's just what it does.
Yeah.
So stay in that mindset as we carry on. You did mention something that will get you a ding.
Fireproofing over Innsmouth.
Yes. Let's see. Yes. Many Targaryens dream of the same specific things throughout history.
They dream of dragons a lot. They dream of wars. They dream of conflicts. They dream of...
Let me change the same specific things and events. Because yes, they all dream about dragons like as a general concept. But they dream about specific. Many of them dream about the same specific events. What event is most prominent in the main series that every goddamn Targaryen dreams about?
Azor Ahai.
Well, yes, but that's not
the Doom.
No.
Summerhall.
No, you want me to throw it at you?
Yeah.
Many Targaryens all dream about the birth of Daenerys, right? The rebirth of Daenerys Targaryen.
I said Azor Ahai.
Bite my butt. This was revealed most recently on the wall of Helena Targaryen's bedroom.
Yeah.
Where she has a drawing of what appears to be Daenerys Targaryen.
Yes.
And all of the Targaryens seem to think that that's about them. They have this common
Rhaegar thought he was Azor Ahai.
Yeah, this wonderful sense of ego that they all have together. And the dreaming of these shared specific events is a theme throughout the series that seems to stretch back thousands of years.
It almost is like the Omen a little bit, where like there's somebody who's going to be born, and it's a real bad thing. Rosemary's Baby too.
You know, I didn't watch The Omen or Rosemary's Baby.
Rosemary's Baby.
They're on my list.
It's same actually. I know the plot of The Omen. I haven't seen it. I have not seen Rosemary's Baby, and it's been on my watch list for over a decade now.
Okay.
Because it has one of the most famous like shots of all time. Like I used to want to be a cinematographer before I realized that.
It's easier to be a podcaster.
It's way easier if you're gonna go live in LA. You should have a job that pays money, any amount. But that's like, you know, the main plot is this baby's gonna be born, and that's a real shame actually. Real not cool thing about this baby being born is that his dad might be Satan.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. So, is Dany like a Rosemary's Baby situation, and they're all reading it wrong? Like, I like they're all trying to have Rosemary's Baby shower, and nobody's picking up on the satanic vibes at all.
I think you are absolutely correct. I think that Daenerys's birth may be fully apocalyptic in its portents, and that all the Targaryens have been seeing this. And they've been seeing it accurately as a world-altering event, and they think world-altering event means I get to become king, when in actuality, world-altering event means a portent of the end of the world.
Yeah.
However, that's only half the theory.
Shit.
We have more portent.
This is a dense fucking theory.
Yes, it is! What do you think of it so far?
I believe it.
Let's go.
Like, yeah.
Let's go. I didn't have Rosemary's Baby on here. That's a good pull.
Yeah. Like fucking. If you're like, because people always think of things in their own lifetime and not on like the scale past that. Like, this is something I laugh about like all the time in real life. Is the end is always near is something that Dan Carlin, I think, my favorite podcaster. I don't know about yours, but I saw him live.
Zach, you're my favorite podcaster.
Who's your favorite podcaster?
You are.
Oh, I guess that makes. I guess it feels weird to include us outside of.
And if you want us to become more confident in the fact that we're podcasters, hit that subscribe button for me.
Check out
now.
our Patreon.
And please like the video. It actually makes it perform way better when I say, please like the video.
He did a book called The End Is Always Near. And it is about this, that everybody thinks an apocalyptic event will happen in their lifetime. But there's another, like, you know, if you get, like, this great changing thing will happen in your lifetime, you can imagine that you'll come out on top of it. It's like after the cataclysmic event that changes the world, I'll somehow come out better from it. No, probably not. And two, your lifespan might not get to the point where, like, a truly cataclysmic world-altering event happens. Especially if you're like, Baylor Breakspear, right? Like, we don't know if he thought he was like prophesized or anything, but he died in a fucking trial of the seven after getting cracked in the head.
He died in legal proceeding.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the end of your world might be like your car rolling over at 50 miles an hour in real life.
Yeah.
Like that's your apocalypse. And it's really easy to imagine yourself being present for this like world-alteringly huge event and projecting yourself into it, that you'd miss it when it's not happening to you. You're alive for the harbinger of doom, and you don't even know who it is. It's entirely plausible. And it's also, that's how George writes all the time. It's like people misinterpret prophecy, people kick the can down the road on solving problems, people ignore things that are clearly magic. So Dany, like, woke dragons. That's fucking crazy.
These woke dragons
These
now.
woke- Drogon's thumbnail arrow says woke.
Yeah,
That's the thumbnail for this
Oh,
video.
don't worry, I have the. You know what? I might make it your next card if you want to pull one. I already know the title of this video.
Beautiful. Danny has performed a the dragons died off. There's a period called the dying of the dragons in the history.
Yeah.
And then they never came back. Valeria is destroyed. All this stuff is ancient lost secrets. And all of a sudden, with one magical event, Danny, who walks out unburnt in another, portents of weird dark magic. By the way, that seemed like reading it again is fucking weird and dark.
It's very strange.
It does not read like this inspirational, she walked out of the flames and was unburnt. I see how you get to that, but it's fucking
Not
messed up.
You know what, dude? You know what it fucking reads like? It reads like the description of the cult scenes in Louisiana in the Call of Cthulhu.
Yes, it does.
That's what it reads like.
Yes, it does. And boop, 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 boop.
Ba-doop, boop, ba-doop.
Yeah, so that is the most magical event that has happened outside of maybe the encounters with the others that we see.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I'd say it's still more magical because dragons were dead. And if you
dragons were dead, and so was Daenerys.
Yeah.
She should have.
Somebody survives an event that should have killed them, unharmed, losing only her hair, maybe.
Yeah.
And
comes out and spawns 3 monsters.
It spawns 3 monsters that have been extinct. For if somebody walked into a burning building and came out unharmed with 3 dinosaurs, that would be the news for the year.
Yeah,
maybe a couple of years.
Yes, if that happened, and also there was zombies in Alaska. Yeah, the zombies in Alaska would not be the most notable thing.
Yeah. And Aemon, our classic smart guy, actually understands prophecy. Is Danny's Azor Ahai, the dragons prove it. That's an exact quote. So he understands how cataclysmic it's supposed to be.
No, he doesn't. He understands how
important.
Yes, but
not cataclysmic.
I don't think that everyone understands how cataclysmic it is. It's a bad time. It's gonna be a bad.
Are we gonna talk about?
You're about to have a bad. Would you like to have? You want to have a bad time?
Yes. Sans Undertale.
There it is.
You're how fast are dragons do they normally grow in age? Are we about to assert that Danny's are growing at a faster pace?
They do seem to be growing faster than most dragons in the series, but not so much faster that it seems to be.
Sus.
Yeah. It's something we can probably chalk to the 5-year gap that we as a fandom like to talk about.
Is that they were supposed to age at a regular rate?
Yeah, they're growing, I don't know, twice as fast as usual, but not 10 times as fast as usual. And this seems to be interestingly covered by House of the Dragon, because her dragon's parent seems to age faster, right? Seems to grow faster.
Yeah.
Than the other.
So they set that up at least.
Yeah,
dragons can grow at different rates.
So if you want to call that a mild plot hole, I'll be whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna get into something is particularly different about Danny's dragons, or that they are or dragons themselves are Lovecraftian monsters that just got normalized. It's just they kind of are. Aren't Valerians are just Lovecraftian beings that got normalized? Is that where we're going here?
No, I like that though.
Because imagine if Innsmouth people conquered the world, and it was just oh yeah, that's an Innsmouth person who divine exceptionalism, they're descended from the gods, and of course he's riding around in a shagga like they do.
Yeah. Let me point to where we're going.
Yeah.
So all of these things, right? This boop and this boop and this all point toward Daenerys's dragon. Many Targaryens dream about the birth of Daenae, Daenerys Targaryen. Right. They all dream about this. They all dream about the same event. This echoes through time.
Yeah.
And they all point to here. I think that there is another thing that Targaryens dream about that
so there's a song of ice and fire. So it's if Dany's the fire, they need to dream about the ice, and they do dream about the war, right?
I like it. I like this. This is good. Hang on.
Okay.
There's another specific thing that Targaryens are dreaming about that has already happened. It has already happened. I'm sorry. That the portents of which we have already seen, so we may be able to get a glimpse of something else that's happening in the future.
Is it Jon?
No. It's a little abstract. Let me ask you this. What is your favorite chapter in the series? Give me the top 5. Give me the top 5 list. That would just be a good video.
I read my most recent completion of a book was a reread of Clash.
Okay.
I love the Arya witnesses war crimes chapter. You know the one.
Yes.
Where it's just, this is the war crime that happened yesterday. This is the war crime that happened today. Tomorrow, this war crime is going to happen. That might be my favorite chapter. It sucks. It's a painful one to read. It is necessary to understand the overall themes of that book and the books in general, is to understand that Arya is somebody who, like, I've said many times, especially with, like, in our House of Dragon streams, agency is a theme that George deals with very well and weaves into all of his stories. Arya is constantly fighting for more agency and usually gets it. While Sansa is stuck in King's Landing, Arya is able to escape by hook or by crook to get out of King's Landing because that's what she wants to do the most, because she is good at, like, having agency and actualizing on it. To have her, the spunkiest, like, I will not be put down person, be stuck to do nothing but try and survive in a scenario where horrible things are happening on the daily, really enforces, like, his message about war. That you can't, like, action your way out of certain aspects of it.
Those chapters are really good. Like, the Arya chapters in Clash are really good.
Yes. That is not relevant.
That's not what I'm looking for. Give me another.
Another chapter that I love.
It may be helpful to ask what are Tom's favorite chapters also.
They're all Euron chapters.
Okay.
Are we talking about a Winds of Winter preview chapter?
We might be.
We are talking about Euron through the eyes of his brother / captive / boat decoration. Euron Greyjoy, that is the Forsaken chapter, correct?
I'm just going to read from that chapter a bit.
Ding. Here we go.
Ding, by the way. We'll decide what we need to write down because it's too much to write down, okay?
Yeah.
The mound of skulls was gone. Now it was metal underneath the crow's eye, a tall, twisted seat of razor-sharp iron barbs and blasted and broken swords, all dripping blood. Impaled upon the longer spikes were the bodies of the gods. The maiden was there, and the father and the mother, the warrior, the crone, and the smith, even the stranger. They hung side by side with all manner of queer foreign gods. Swollen and green, half devoured by crabs, the drowned god festered with the rest, seawater still dripping from his hair. It was only a dream, he thought, a vision born of the foul black wine. And I've omitted some from that, but that's the
weird thing I'm throwing in there. The gods are being eaten by crabs.
You got okay. Yeah.
Did the crab feeder get the same prophecy?
I love it.
The crab feeder got the same fucked up dream.
Zach,
as Euron.
I fucking love it. I fucking love it. But I would not think it's accurate to say that the crab feeder got the same dream as Euron. I think the crab feeder and Euron got the same dream as everybody else.
And there's one god sending out dreams and people are seeing different parts of it.
Aaron sees gods impaled upon the Iron Throne.
Doesn't Patchface say something about fucking crabs coming to the surface?
I think he does. Don't get stuck on the crabs.
It's just fascinating that that's a detail on there. That, but the idea here is the gods are literally being slain.
Yeah. Boop, boop. The Iron Throne in Aaron's vision is a pyre for deities. The Iron Throne is fucking insane.
The Iron Throne has whacked people before.
Yes, the people die on the Iron Throne.
With the implication being that a chair killed them. Which is crazy, except for the fact that that is not even the most haunted chair in the story. There are like probably 2 or 3 more.
The Iron Throne was commissioned by Aegon I from the swords of defeated kings. During his War of Conquest, he takes all of the swords commanded by all of the kings and puts them all on this big fucking iron chair.
And then, like, the defeat of kings and the defeat of gods are paralleled a lot just in human writings.
Correct.
There's the divine right of kings, which is a like thing that we actually talk about in Song of Ice and Fire also. That the 7 give the king the right to rule. They rule in his name. He rules in their name, rather. In the name of the old gods and new, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I sentence you to die. I, the king, am not sentencing you to die. The gods are. They just told me to do it. So
read this. Here, read this. Read that out loud.
In the Who Duel Monsters, Maximilian Pegasus becomes obsessed with the visions of deities. He then puts them on trading cards.
Don't talk. Now read this. Starting here.
In the creation of physical totems, instill others?
Yeah. In the Call of Cthulhu, many people dream of R'lyeh and put the aspects of these visions on physical totems. Okay, now read this.
The Iron Throne. Oh my god. He gets the vision from this deity and he tries to recreate. The Iron Throne is not. This is his. He saw the same dream as Aaron and recreated it.
From fucking downtown. Let's fucking go. That big fuck off chair is an aspect of something. Because it's an insane thing to make if it's not important.
And it's absurd in the books, the size and scale of it.
Yeah.
It is, like, the show version is much more, like, practical. And even then, in House of the Dragon, they understood, put more swords on it. Put swords all over the place. It's supposed to have the look of, like, many kingdoms have fallen and many more will fall, which is a great thing for a conqueror, but it's also a great thing for an apocalypse. Is you think you are safe? No, you will fall too.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're totally right. And he got a vision of a dark, horrible world, thinking it was the future he had to build.
He's not the only one who's gotten visions of scary chairs.
You're right. Who else has gotten vision of scary chairs?
Garth Greenhand.
Garth Greenhand.
Garth Greenhand made a terrifying Weirwood throne.
Yes.
And it looks weirdly like that one.
Seastone Chair is also a weird, fucked up chair.
Absolutely. You know who else has a weird chair? Is Bloodraven.
Yeah.
In his weird in his weird place.
Yeah.
That fucking thing, I am asserting, is an aspect of something. The image of that fucking chair, this insane, impractical, ludicrously expensive chair, ruinously expensive chair, is, I think, echoed through history.
In the Bad Dragon show, the throne is destroyed by Drogon.
Ding. In Game of Thrones Season 8, Drogon destroys the Iron Throne. I assert that is a weird thing to include.
Unless it came right from the book.
What if that's one of the things that came from George? Drogon destroys the chair at the end.
And also, Dany losing her mind if the chair is literally... Because I'm thinking now, so many people who had problems during their reign didn't start until they sat the throne. Maybe Maegor getting kicked in the head had fucking nothing to do with it, and it's the second he sits on that chair. Because the Mad King isn't mad until he's the king. He wasn't... Like, if he was that fucking crazy, they would have never let him become king in the first place. There's precedent for that. There's precedent for them taking out back and maestering people who aren't suited for the throne. That's what they did to Aerion Brightflame, allegedly, is that he was taken out. His kid, they didn't even gamble on his kid taking the throne because of how crazy he was. They had like a soft coup. Vizzy T, his health was not like known to be particularly great.
Everyone fucking cuts themselves on the Iron Throne.
But his health goes from like not good to rapidly deteriorating the second he sits on that throne.
Yeah.
Do we think Jaehaerys II just had like a really nice ass cushion like that he put on there that was like bounded to stop magic from like seeping through his cheeks?
Or maybe he just spent enough time away from it, like Jaehaerys I, who spent so much of his time on progresses. He wasn't there.
Yeah, Jaehaerys was not there. The Conciliator wasn't there.
Aegon wasn't there very much.
Yeah, he's at Summerhall.
Always fucking around.
Aegon the Conqueror wasn't there that much. Aegon the Unlikely wasn't there that much because he was always fucking around also. He had wars to fight, and then he'd like to hang out in Summerhall. It is a Lovecraftian monstrosity that ruins everybody who sits on it.
It is the aspect of a deity that they are sitting on. And you have found my piece of original tinfoil, which is going in this lovely little spot right here. In Lovecraft and Yu-Gi-Oh! And the Magnus Archives and a bunch of other things that I really like. Aspects of deities. I'm sorry. Depictions of deities slowly become aspects of those deities. Boop, boop.
Robert Fairlever sits the throne also.
That's true.
He's way too busy drinking and hunting and having sex to be on it all that much. But Joffrey sits on it quite a bit, and he goes madder and madder over time.
Yeah.
Partially because he had rabies, but also because he was sitting there on throne.
Correct. Now let's set that aside, right? Let's set the actual effects of sitting on this chair aside for a moment.
Yeah.
I am asserting the main core of this theory is that the Targaryens and other people, right? People are dreaming of the throne in the same way that they were dreaming of Daenerys' birth. They're dreaming of the rebirth of dragons, that they're dreaming of the Doom. I bet if we go back to 200 years before the Doom, Daenerys the Dreamer is not the only one having this dream.
Yeah.
She's just the only one who
acts on
it. Yes. I assert that Aegon the Conqueror dreamed of this. He dreamed of whatever this thing is, this horrible nightmare twisted iron shape. Uh, 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 that he that has been plaguing him in his dreams for years, and he sculpts these broken swords into it. And for most people it's just a chair, but if you have dreamed of an aspect that is very much right, like if I were to hold, if I, someone who's never read any Lovecraft, were to hold an aspect of Cthulhu, I would be like, oh, that's scary and intimidating. But if I've been dreaming about this since I was 2 years old, and then I walk in and see a giant throne shaped like Cthulhu, my response is going to be, oh, fuck, that looks familiar, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Or, that looks familiar, and I hunger for the power that it implies.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you are. And rants. There you go, Zach. Your turn.
Well, like, also, there's like this massive sprawling dream that a deity is having. You might only get a piece of it in your like 4 hours of sleep where you can dream. Like if you get 4 hours where you're not dreaming, 4 hours where you are, like the REM deep sleep flip that you get, you're only going to get a segment of this story. And yeah, if you just see this massive powerful chair, not devoid of the context of which it like came in, you're gonna be like, yo, that's my destiny, right? I have to build this, because like, again, in the books it's absurd. In the books you have to take stairs to get up to it, like level of like sword chair. You would look at that, and if you thought I'm destined to be king, I'm dreaming of my throne.
When in actuality, you are dreaming something else's dream.
Yes.
And I don't know what that thing is, or what it wants, or if it wants anything. Does whatever thing is sending out visions of Daenerys' birth, whatever that thing is, does it care about her? Or the results thereof? I don't know. Maybe. Probably not. Unless it's Bran.
This kind of implies that maybe Euron has like gotten more of the dream than most, or has like intentionally tried to like unravel the dream more than others.
He's been digging into it. Like, I bet we will find Aerion Brightflame
was digging into the dream because he was doing dissimilar things. Yeah. He wants to.
Oh my fucking god! And like Hugh
Hammer.
Holy shit! We brought it all the way around. Yeah.
Hugh gets a slightly different vision, but I bet like if he was having dreams and like he was just putting pieces together, we don't know. It could all be the same continuous dream. Also, It could be that like the rise and fall and rise again of House Targaryen is a necessary component to create Daenerys, and people just got the Daenerys creation part without realizing all the like sacrifice that had to happen to get there. Like Summerhall may have been necessary to make Daenerys. The rise and fall of the Targaryen dynasty might have been necessary to make Daenerys. If you only get one part of the dream, you can get a part without the rest of the context and be like, oh, a baby will be born. And it's like,
but that's me.
Yeah. One, no, and two, you were not. You walked into the theater a little late. You forgot the part where your entire family dies first. You missed that part.
All right, Zach, that's my theory. This theory is called the Iron Nightmare. We have Daenerys Targaryen as as a portent of the apocalypse, and a number of other portents of the apocalypse that are probably here too.
This also, that's why Euron wants to like steal Dany's dragons and potentially marry her, or like when the Kraken weds the dragon, sort of thing, right? Mm-hmm. That's his actual prophecy. Like he saw necessarily like, I need to marry the harbinger of the apocalypse. I need to wed or bed the harbinger of the apocalypse, and then it is Rosemary's Baby in a way, right?
Yeah, it does seem like his style.
Yeah. Or potentially he is misinterpreting it, and he thinks Danny and I will make the Harbinger of the Apocalypse, and he doesn't realize I'm trying to sleep with the Harbinger of the Apocalypse.
Oh my god, he's the only one that sees the apocalyptic
portion of it.
Yeah.
He got a different part of the vision.
Or everyone is seeing the apocalyptic side of it and not caring. Right?
Yeah.
The stallion that mounts the world is an apocalyptic, right?
Yeah.
Or that is apocalyptic. But Daenerys is choosing to ignore the fact that it is apocalyptic.
Yes.
And is instead seeing it as like conquering and liberating instead of burning to the ground.
Yeah.
Whereas Euron has completely the opposite perspective, where he's like, "Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, let's do that."
even Azor Ahai can be apocalyptic. Too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm sold.
Cool. You sold on which half? Both halves?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Danny being a portent of the apocalypse, 100% could be the case. And she has done. She has resurrected an extinct monster.
Mm-hmm.
3 of them, actually.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
I watched Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Who's Dennis Nedry?
Jorah. You didn't say the magic word.
Mr. Karras. Zach, thank you very much for joining me.
Yeah.
If this is the sort of thing you like, you can subscribe if you want to. We talk about this kind of stuff all the time.
We do. This is actually not the first time we've had a lot of Lovecraft in one of our theories.
Yeah.
It's probably not even the second time.
It's certainly not the last.
Yep.
Zach, say goodbye.
Goodbye.